All right, welcome to Every Sport Today, the best all sports podcast in the world. It is Super Bowl time. Yeah, that's right. Talking about the Super Bowl 3 days later. We really needed to collect our thoughts. It was a very intense battle, a lot going on, and we really just had to come together, really think through our thoughts. And I think we've been able to come up with a lot here, right? I think we should start off by saying this Super Bowl sucked. What's your you've taken 3 days, you've thought about this Super Bowl a lot. What's gonna be your biggest thing coming out of the Super Bowl that you're gonna remember for years and years to come?
I thought it was awesome. Thrill ride. Fun time. Nah, I wasn't going to watch. And then I looked at, because I was concerned about when Kendrick was going to come on. So,
Yeah.
It was about 3/4 of the way through the first quarter. And I looked, and I seen that the Chiefs had 3 straight 3-and-outs. I was like, holy fuck, the Eagles are going to win. So I turned it on, and I just never looked back. And it was great from start to finish.
Yeah.
The Chiefs trying desperately to make it not look like one of the worst Super Bowl losses of all time, which it was. It really was.
It was.
It was one of the worst since. Would you say it was worse than the Broncos?
Because
the Broncos was right off the bat, they got their ass. This wasn't from start to finish. They got their ass.
Was.
It was, but not in the same vein. They got the 4th down stop on the AJ Brown OPI, which some people think is a good call. Some people say is debatable. I thought it was a ticky-tack kind of thing.
I think
he's just hand fighting and his hand
not
hit his face.
Call. Yeah.
No.
Here's what I think.
The Seahawks one, they just scored a fucking touchdown literally right away. And then, or no, what was it? It was either the pick six or the fumble over. It was a snap over his head, right?
Yeah, it was very quick.
The first play was a snap over his head, and they scored right away.
Yeah. The only issue, though, is the Broncos had more than, 27 yards in the first half? So it's I understand that, yes, the snap happened, and yes, it was immediate. And it's kind of the same thing as the Broncos on the reverse end with the Panthers, where it was they started off insanely hot, right? So it wasn't this bolstering massive thing that's touchdown right off the bat, game's over. But it was all right, they get this call, they go 3-and-out. Philly goes down and scores another 3-and-out. And it's you guys have 3 possessions in a combined 7 yards. What's happening here? I think that was the part of it where it was from the get-go, there was nothing. They had nothing offensively. They couldn't do anything. And so I don't know if it's the most lopsided from right off the bat standpoint, just because of those early scores. To your point, though, it did feel like the Seahawks were just completely
the thing. State Farm was probably coming up with some three-peat, 3 combo deal or something. 3.
State Farm was coming up with a combo deal. What?
Well, when you combine, I can't think what it's called.
A bundle?
Yeah, the 3 bundle, the 3-peat bundle or something
bundle
like that.
Rooski?
Where, bundle Rooski with Mahomes and Kelsey and someone else, Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Come together and they have the 3-peat. You get an extra $50 off if you have 3 items or more. I don't know. So they probably really focusing on. They were in boardroom meetings and talking to lawyers and shit, trying to get the trademark away from Pat Riley.
So you think the reason why the Chiefs were terrible in this game is because they were too focused on bundling their home and auto with State Farm?
Yeah, exactly. They were just, their minds weren't in, and it was apparent from the beginning, which I didn't watch the beginning, so I don't really know. But
it was
based off of the 3 drives that I read on the internet.
It was the first third down. You knew, I didn't think it was going to go off the rails like this, but after the first third down, where it's you have the little curl route that Travis Kelce does 15 times a game, right at the first down line, Mahomes' throw is a little off. It's a little bit low. Travis Kelce gets his hands on it, but doesn't make the catch. And you go, oh, that's a play they make 99% of the time. This is the Super Bowl. You should be making that play. And they didn't convert. And so it was kind of one of those things where it was like, red flags immediately. And they didn't run the ball till like the third drive, I think. They went.
It's a fourth drive, I'm pretty sure. Because I
Fourth
turned
drive,
it on
something like that.
right before their fourth drive.
Yeah.
Dude.
Miserable.
Crazy. It's just. And this is what I was telling everybody at work. I just don't think the Chiefs deserve to be in the Super Bowl this year. I think they had whatever weird black magic thing that people have been talking about for the past 2 years. I don't think they should have been there in front of the Bills. The Bills, if they don't lose that cornerback in the first quarter, they probably win that game because the Elam guy basically gave the Chiefs 14 points.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was a huge loss for them. Like, it cannot be understated. Bills were probably going to do something similar to what the Eagles did game plan wise, and losing someone who can actually guard a guy just costs you so much. That their depth was terrible at that position. The other thing is that I think the Ravens would have beat them too. I think the Ravens would have learned from last year. I think I don't know. I think they could have, if they did the same turnovers to the Chiefs, I think they could have overcome that. I don't think they could have overcome it versus the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills had 2 terrible calls against them as well. I'm sorry. The Chiefs were not good all year. They were literally the worst 15-win team of all time. Based off of several different statistics. So it was frustrating to have to watch them again. And I just enjoyed watching them getting their ass handed to them.
It was one of those things where, and people have brought up the Brady thing to very high extents, and I don't feel like I need to go down that route too much here. But what I will say is, when the Patriots had a team that still won games, they were still good. Like, there was no bad team that won a lot of games. This felt like a bad team that won a lot of games because they're built off of culture and they're built off of like a couple of key pieces, right? Like, this felt like it's almost felt like the Nuggets last 2 years in a way, where it's like we could just coast through the regular season. We have Jokic, we're fine. Just play it out, see what happens. But like last year, they just really weren't that great of a team. And so it's just kind of one of those things where like eventually it's going to catch up to you and you're going to get beat by someone who's better than you, right? Or you're going to get outworked, you're going to get out hustled, whatever it may be. And the Eagles were just clearly better than them in this game. Clearly better.
And the Eagles were better, and they definitely won it. Like,
yes,
that as cliche as that is, they wanted to win this game more. It meant they were playing for something more than what the Chiefs are playing to maintain something.
Yeah,
whereas the Eagles were playing to
take it.
And here's the difference between Mahomes and Brady for me: is I think Brady is such a fucking psychopath.
Yeah,
that he will not let that happen in a big game where he has a letdown performance or he doesn't come up.
Yeah.
At least in the Super Bowl.
We saw it against the Falcons.
Yeah, he had several bad games in the playoffs, or before the Super Bowl, but he never did this in the Super Bowl. He never. I guess the only one was the Rams one, which was just a weird
sucked in that game.
A weird ass game.
That was one of that might be the weirdest Super Bowl of all time. Also the most boring. But yeah, listen. The Mahomes Brady comparisons are going to keep going. There's no doubt about that. Obviously the Chiefs are going to be in cap hell. I believe I saw that they have 5 players who make up 61% of their cap space, which is just absurd to think about. Like, they're going to be in trouble. I think Reed's a free agent. Philadelphia doesn't have too many free agency issues. A couple on the defensive end, like Zach Bond. So if he gets a massive payday,
too.
Yeah, Sweats, yeah. So if those guys get a massive payday, but it's like,
but they're trading for Myles Garrett, so it'll be okay.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get Myles Garrett. Obviously, they're going to draft 10 Georgia linebackers in the draft. They're going to. Who's another Georgia player that they could go get? Listen, the Eagles will figure it out. They'll be fine. They'll be back. The other thing I was going to say about the Eagles is I think their defense is a little underrated with how good it is because they didn't start off the hottest. And I think that's because they had some key pieces that were still figuring itself out. By the end of the season, they were the best defense in the league and arguably one of the best defenses of all time. And I don't think people were talking about that enough, right? Like,
No.
you had Cooper DeJean, you had Reed Blankenship's. I guess he's been around for a while, but you had Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter still young, like Zach Bond just got added to the team. Nakobe Dean was playing more minutes. Like, these are young guys, new pieces being added to a defense and working itself out and fitting in perfectly and getting even better throughout the season. That's why they were so good by the end of it, right? Like, it was a matter of they were flying a little under the radar because we needed to see it all work together and the rookies had to step up. And then once it did, they were completely unstoppable basically the second half of the year. Like, ever since Cooper DeJean basically took over at cornerback. So maybe he's Jesus Christ himself. I mean,
are they the best? Is this the best Super Bowl defensive performance since, the Broncos?
Yeah, since Von Miller basically single-handedly carried the Broncos. That defense was incredible, but like Von Miller was so good in that game, it's ridiculous. It's definitely the best team effort. Like, the amount of sacks that they were getting without actually blitzing. They had 6 sacks, and I think I saw the stat they blitzed 5 or more twice. That's disgusting. 6 sacks with 4 guys blitzing the entire time. And then when you have guys like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, not as much, but like Reed Blankenship, CJ Gardner-Johnson, like Darius Slay, you have all of these guys on the back end who are just like, you're not scoring on us. You're not doing anything. Eventually, we're going to be able to cover you enough to where our pass rush is just going to get to you. And we only have to be good first off the step because eventually our line's just going to get to you, right? Like, they don't
How much did racism play into the Cooper DeJean thing?
Well, they took away the end racism. So do you think that exactly fired him up?
Yeah, maybe. It's like I felt like freaking I lost a lot of money because of racism. Fucking pissed, bro.
He was like, we don't have to end racism anymore. It means I could ball out. I think that's what it was,
how
right?
did he fall? He gets his second round pick, right? Or was he late first?
He fell to the second round when
that's
everybody
crazy.
Thought he was going to be a first round draft pick, and he just somehow fell to the Eagles.
That is so freaking crazy, dude. I don't know. If I was any team in the league, I'd be freaking chewing out my GM.
Well, the fact of the matter is 2 of the better defensive players, maybe 2 of the best defensive players from this draft, were Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who both ended up on the Philadelphia Eagles, who both play the exact same position, who both shined massively. Quinyon Mitchell, maybe not as much. Cooper DeJean, maybe more of a limited role, but like, those guys, you look at them now and you're like, yeah, they're going to be cornerbacks for a long time in the league, right? Like, they have all the tools. So the fact that they just fell, and then you throw in the fact that Jalen Carter just completely fell to them when he should have been taken very high. It's insane. It's insane. Nolan Smith too. It's so dumb. Just Georgia defensive players. It's so stupid. I hate this. Do you have anything else to say on the Eagles, man? They were good. I don't know what else to add.
Oh, yeah, the 5 weapons thing. It's just fucking the worst take. I'm bringing it up again. Just such a shit take. Just such a shit take. It's unreal.
It was early in the season, man. It was early in the year. Have we seen a team win like in the manner that they have with a similar formula where it's just quarterback who does like anything, right? Can run the ball, throw the ball. Running back who just carries the ball 25 times a game and is unstoppable.
The Denver Broncos.
2 wide receivers and then tight end.
98.
Yeah. That's definitely.
Their line is also. It's not like they paid those guys at the expense of their offensive. They have arguably the best offensive line coach in the league.
Well, yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he's been there since 2013.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's hired by Chip Kelly, and they've just kept him on because he just finds people. Like
Becton.
Becton, yeah, he's just a nobody, and then he transforms him into a completely useful player.
It's disgusting.
Milata, just a random rugby player, is like, oh yeah, this guy's
he's
a tackle for sure. Freaking Jason Kelsey was a 6th round pick, just tore his ACL. And he turns him into one of the greatest centers of all time.
It's insane.
That's
why my take was so bad, is because I just looked at the offense and I was like, 5 guys, not enough. And then I was like, oh wait, they have those 5 guys outside of maybe Saquon are like not even top 10 most important on the team. Like, I think that's almost fair to say at this point. Like, they have so many guys on defense. They've got so many guys on the offensive line that, like, their 5 main offensive weapons, maybe outside of Saquon, just don't matter enough. And yet they're still great. A.J. Brown is still, he's been a number 1 wide receiver in the league for, 6-7 years now? And probably less than that.
No.
Devonta Smith.
2019. Yeah.
And it's like they traded for A.J. Devonta Smith still on a rookie contract. Jalen, I don't know what Hurts contracts look like.
He's getting paid a fraction of what like Mahomes.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting like $40 million, I think. He did not get a big deal, which
because he got a slow start to his career. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did make the Super Bowl, but he's never been like the guy on the team. So It's not like you're gonna pay him when he's like not necessarily the best aspect of your team. Like I think he realized that other teams probably wouldn't pay him more than like 45, you know? Like I don't think in a free agent market he would be making a ton of money before winning the Super Bowl. But I don't know.
I agree.
Someone's probably stupid enough to give him Kirk Cousins money or something.
100%. Eagles were good. Jake Elliott didn't miss a kick.
When was a quarterback when has a quarterback this handsome won? When was the last time? Has a quarterback this handsome ever won? Do you think
Brady's handsome?
Brady's No. Is he as handsome as Jalen Hurts? That's the question.
I think Jalen Hurts is more sexy than handsome. Do you disagree? I feel like I had to say it. I'm sorry. Like, I see Brady and I go, that guy's handsome. I see Jalen Hurts and I go,
you just got swagger.
Fuck me.
God damn, dude.
I was going to say daddy after that. I'm glad I didn't. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, man.
Getting rid of the dreads was the best decision he ever made in his life.
Yeah, that's true.
I have so much, like when he had the dreads and he would play, it's like, this guy can't play quarterback. I'm sorry. You just can't play quarterback with dreads. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute, you know? You got to have.
Matthew Stafford handsome?
Nah, he's got a wide face.
He does have a wide face. I think he's all right. We'll
Jimmy
give him the credit. Jimmy G
was the last.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess he was in the Super Bowl. He didn't win.
Yeah, he didn't win that game, and the last time he won the Super Bowl was with Brady. So, yeah, Brady probably the last handsome quarterback. Jalen Hurts, sexiest quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
There we go.
There it is. Nothing else on the Eagles. Can I talk about the 2 things that nobody else is talking about from this game?
Sure.
Are you ready? 1. Chris Jones gets hurt on the tush push. I don't understand why teams don't just allow the tush push to happen. Like, I wonder if it'll happen more now that like Chris Jones gets a stinger in the neck and you could see him immediately trying to work it out. That's just a lot of pressure to put on your defensive players. It's a lot of weight coming at you. It's a lot of weight sitting on you. It's a lot of just like, there's so much potential that could go wrong for a play that works 95% of the time. And if you stop it, they're just going to run it again. So like, I don't know. I know that they were talking about if the Eagles won, they were going to consider banning the tush push a little bit more. Because I think they were like, oh, it's OP. They won a Super Bowl now. But like, if they continue to do it, I wonder if you just let them do it. I don't know. I think the idea of letting a team like score a touchdown or letting a team get a first down on a 4th down is dumb. But at the same time, it's going to cost one of your best players an injury. Like, why don't you just throw in backup offensive linemen for that play? Your thoughts?
I'm trying to think of where this scenario is, but it's like if you want to save time, like you're trying to go home early, and you're just like, yeah, just give Steph Curry the free throws. We'll just put him on there. I mean, he doesn't have to shoot them. We trust him, and then we'll just get the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that. I mean, if you have a chance, you might as well try.
I don't know. I feel like a 5% chance.
The Commander stopped him once, and then they kept trying the same thing, and they just realized if we hard count them, they're going to jump off sides every time. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're proposing that the only way to stop the Eagles is just to not let them get to the 1 yard difference.
No, I'm more proposing just if it's a 4th and 1 and they're tush pushing, just let them do it.
Third down, you can't let them get to the 2 yards out because then they'll just do it.
If it's a 4th and 2, I'm fine with defending the tush push. But if it's like actually, let me take this back. If it's like a 4th and 1, I'm fine with defending the tush push. If it's first down and goal on the 1 yard line, I'm saying I'm not defending this play. I'm not getting my guys injured because they're going to run that play once. If it doesn't work, they're going to run it twice. If it doesn't work again, they're going to run it 3 times. They're going to convert that play. And in this situation, I think it was a 1st and goal because they had just got the Jahan Dotson first down, and then Chris Jones gets hurt. And I don't know how much that played effect for the rest of the game, but he did nothing in this game. So,
you know why he got hurt, Nick?
Go ahead.
He left his warm-ups and just went over and dapped up Donald Trump. That's just had a lot of people rooting against that. You can't.
Yeah, that's fair. Was it because he was too emotional during the national anthem?
He's emotional during every national anthem.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we got a view of him during the national anthem in this game. Now that I think about it. I was too riveted by John Baptiste.
Yeah, I rewatched it on Facebook.
Good national anthem.
Not according to the people on Facebook. So
I thought it was good.
It was fine. It was decent.
It was a little bit of
definitely
different
New Orleans flair to it, which I like. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of racists in this country. It's just really what it comes down to. Like anything that's different than what they're comfortable with is just
completely
problematic for them.
Speaking of, no, he wasn't racist. What did he do? Did he haze
Harrison
people?
Butker?
Matt Ariza?
Oh no, he was accused of rape.
Oh yeah, it was rape. Yeah, I thought it was
I think we should stay away from making jokes about that because he was falsely accused.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a joke about it. What I am gonna say is he was dog shit in this game. People aren't talking about this enough.
Is this your second point?
What?
Is this your second point?
Yes, this is my second point. Matt Ariza was the worst player on the field. 6 punts, none inside the 20, 2 touchbacks. His punts were decent yardage. The 3 returns that DeJean had, he had 27 yards total, so that's an average of 9 yards. That's not great. I don't understand how you have 6 kicks and none inside the 20. Braden Mann for the Eagles had 2 kicks and both of them were inside the 20. I don't understand it. He was the worst player on the field. Genuinely. Matt Ariza was the worst player on the field.
Who was their punter last year?
I don't know, but he
wasn't this bad. I mean,
he didn't have 6 kicks, not inside the 20.
It's a valid point. It's a valid point, especially when you're struggling on offense and you can't pin the other team.
Yes,
back deep.
Exactly.
That plays an effect in the game, and it wasn't Chiefs like. He's a new player to the team. He's essentially a rookie. I think this was his first year kicking, and that's what happens when you gamble on people with shady pasts, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to look at
the Chiefs clearly have no problem with the problematic people. So
oh yeah, that's true. All right, here he kicked from their own 24, their own 40, which ended up as a touchback. Their own 9. So obviously that one, wasn't like super tough. His own 24, his own 29, and his own 45.
So
One of these kicks.
3 of those definitely should be within the 20-yard line.
Yes. And only one kick being within the 10-yard line. Like, I feel like even if it's on the 25 of your side, you should still be able to kick it to the other 20.
What was his average? Like 42?
60. It was a good yardage distance, but it just didn't feel like the kicks ever put themselves like it. He never flipped the field. It felt like that was my thought.
So when you kick a touchback, does that count towards your punt yardage?
I think so.
Not get deducted?
I think it all counts. Let me look. Actually,
like net yardage couldn't have been that good.
Yeah, punts 60 yards to the end zone. So yeah, that counted as a 60-yard punt, even though realistically it's a 40-yard punt.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the stats the stats lie in this case because it was even worse than the stats say. I don't know. I just feel like, we hear at Every Sport Today, we really analyze everything that happens in these games. And I feel like mainstream media just isn't talking about how terrible of a punting performance this was. I don't know. If they had a different punter, if Prime McAfee was back there, do the Chiefs win this game? I don't think so. But anyways, anything else from this game? Do we have anything? I don't know. This game.
I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of glad to have my Sundays back.
Yeah, me too.
To do stuff. It drags at the end.
This was a long season.
Especially when they start doing like the everyday shit.
Yeah.
Every night shit.
And there's games on 4 times a week. It blows. And then the college football on top of it. I'm exhausted. We've talked enough about football, as you guys can tell by our energy in this podcast.
Let's bring the energy up a bit. Football, that's a great sport. You toss it around and then you kick it and then you run it. You stick out your arm and knock other people over. That's what it's all about here in America.
Yeah, that is what football looks like under America nowadays.
If you want to rip cigs and drink beers, don't worry about being traded by your team. This isn't. There's no Dallas Mavericks in the NFL.
Is there anything that you're looking at during the offseason? Obviously, Myles Garrett, trade rumors coming out. Anything that you're looking forward to, looking at as potential excitement to shake up for next season?
Bills' quest for a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Curious to see what happens there. Ravens' quest for wide receiver 1. Devontae Adams, I think, could be a big part in the NFC or AFC West picture.
Yeah.
Or the NFC West. He says he wants to go to LA. So if he ends up on either LA team, I don't think if the Rams are looking to move Kupp, I don't think they're going to move in the direction of Adams. I think that's kind of a lateral move on their part unless they can get Adams for cheaper.
Yeah.
I think he makes a lot of sense for the Chargers, though, if he's not completely washed, which I don't think he is. I think Aaron Rodgers just sucks.
Cooper Kupp and Ladd McConkey. The best white duo in NFL history at wide receiver. Could work. Yeah. I could see it.
What else is there? Who are some interesting teams?
I think one thing that I am looking at is who the Eagles replace as offensive coordinator, actually. Because I feel like this is kind of a trend that we see where the Super Bowl team, they win the Super Bowl and then they lose one of their key coordinators. And because it's so late in the hiring process, it's kind of like, all right, you got to just pick whoever's left, whoever's still available. Obviously, there's going to be someone available. They're going to be able to find someone, and it doesn't really matter for them. They're the Eagles. Like, they just figure it out. But Kellen Moore, I do think, was really good for them this year. I do think Kellen Moore is a good coordinator. I don't know how he'll be as a coach. I guess we'll see. But I think it'll be interesting to see who they find as their backup. But outside of that, draft stuff, I think the draft's kind of weak this year. Cam Ward, Shador, pretty much it. Ashton Jeanty to the Cowboys?
It's weak in the terms of the quarterback.
Sure.
I'm not excited for either of those guys in particular. I don't know if they're starters long term in the league.
Yeah. There could be some game changers, though, who come out of this draft, though.
Yeah.
Abdul Carter. I almost said Jalen Carter. Abdul Carter is going to be like all pro, one of the best defenders in the league. I can almost guarantee that. I think it'll be interesting. Travis Hunter.
Who's the team that reaches on Jeanty after seeing Barkley?
The Cowboys. Because I think he'll still be available at, I think they have 13 or something like that. I think he'll still be available. I really do. But I guess we'll see. I don't know.
There's a team with a good line.
Yeah.
Before then,
take a shot.
Let's see. What's the order?
I think Travis Hunter's like one of the best, like not even just draft storylines, but I think NFL storylines for this offseason. Because like he's going to be a top 5 draft pick, and we don't know what position he's going to play. I think that's pretty incredible. Obviously, Heisman winner. Like he's one of those guys, man. Colorado, League of MVPs. I saw a tweet. It was like Colorado, the state of MVPs. It was McKinnon, Jokic, Travis Hunter as Heisman, and then threw Patrick Surtain in there. And I was like, yeah, defensive player of the year. Good job. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's important.
Jokic is a 3-time MVP, and McKinnon probably should have 3 MVPs as well if he wasn't in the league with Connor McDavid. So
that's not how that works.
Just my thought.
He has the one.
He has
He has one.
Yeah, he has one. He deserves one. And Travis Hunter, like Heisman, I think that's what's more impressive, defensive player of the year or Heisman?
What's more impressive is the Heisman winner that ended up playing in the NBA. That guy's one of the greatest athletes of all time, and
that's
unfortunately, he beat his wife or something. So I can't remember his name, but
also OJ won a Heisman, so can't be that impressed.
Listen, OJ Simpson, he was incredible. He's an incredible football player. No one's taking that away from him.
All right. NFL talk. We've had fun. I'm sure there'll be like a day of free agency and like draft talk that we have to do when it comes to talking about the NFL, but we are both exhausted of talking about the NFL. Were you going to look something up?
Oh, the draft order to see. The only team that I could foresee possibly taking him is if the Niners decide to trade McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Niners
that could be an option.
him.
That could be an option.
That would be entertaining.
If they trade him, salary dump,
because they need to clear up
stuff.
Some space for Purdy. So
true.
I think Jeanty would be a very good replacement.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. I want him on the Cowboys, but
because there's not really, but I mean the Niners line needs to be reworked too. So
yeah, true.
Pretty much every team that's in the top 10, you're not going to find a team with a good offensive line in there for the most part. I think the thing about your offensive line is that it's the biggest ceiling raiser or the biggest floor raiser.
Yes.
If you have a good line, you can pretty much win 7 games pretty easily. As long
100%.
as you have a running back who can actually hit a hole and a quarterback who can throw a slant.
Yeah, exactly. So. I'm going to do Cowboys Corner real quick, okay? I saw someone on Twitter post this. They were like, draft Ashton Jeanty, sign T. Higgins, trade for Myles Garrett. Neither of the I would be shocked if any of those things happen. The most likely one is Jeanty being drafted, and we're still probably going to mess that up somehow. And by mess it up, I mean Jerry's just going to be like, we need a guard. So that's how I feel about the Cowboys going into the
What's the Penn State's running back name?
Both of them are coming back. The Penn State.
Oh,
guys.
They are?
Yeah.
Who's the guy? Is Ohio State that I'm thinking of?
Dragon Henderson?
No, it's like Juddy something.
Quinshon Judkins?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Judkins is coming out of the draft, but he won't be like that high. I think both him and Henderson will probably be like second round picks.
Well, that's what I was saying, is that Jerry Jones just picks them instead of Jeanty.
Yeah, that seems way more likely. A second round running back, that sounds right. we would drafting a first round running back seems like too much of an ask.
Whoever takes Scadaboo, I'm gonna use my last pick, and someone's gonna take him, I'm sure. But I'm using a pick on Scadaboo. I have 5
Depends on
picks.
where he ends up.
He's
You do have a lot of
he's
draft
too
picks.
good of a football player. Like that was one of the greatest football players. Like from just a pure football player game.
Oh, 100%.
He did literally everything that
Yeah.
game. It was astounding.
Yeah. We talked about it on the college football podcast. One of the best single-handed performances we've ever seen in a football game. He was that good. I like Scadaboo.
They should have just put him on defense too at a certain point. Just like throw him out there and just put him at nose tackle. He's probably going to get a couple sacks.
Yeah. He could have been a D end.
Yeah, he's
figures
fucking
it out.
massive.
Yeah, he's a dog.
All he does is swing his head, and then the fucking lineman's going to go flying.
Exactly. I like that. All right, that's football season. Do we want to talk about the halftime show? I don't know how much there's to say about the halftime show. I thought it was good. Both of us like Kendrick. I was disappointed there was nothing since like before To Pimp a Butterfly, because that's the Kendrick that I like the most is Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly, and we've had discussions about those albums recently. But like, I don't know. I have listened to Kendrick basically all week now, which is nice because Kendrick's awesome. So, any thoughts on the halftime show?
I'm afraid I'm going to get called out for flexing, so I'm just kidding.
Yeah, talk about your SZA ticket.
Here's the thing: is that it's like the 4th best live TV performance that he's done.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I don't like that he didn't do any of the old songs. I think that he should have at least done like Money Trees, or I don't know if you can do Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe.
Bro, I was listening to Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe like the entire way up to where I was watching the game. I fucking love that song.
But shoot, dude, I just don't think he had like his message was good.
Yeah.
I was still waiting for like a fuck Trump or something like extreme. I think that really would have set it off.
Yeah.
Because like at the end, if you say something, what are they going to do? Like, exactly. I guess they can censor it, but at least people will know that you said something.
Yeah, that'll live on Twitter. Like, yes, it'll be removed from like YouTube, but like that's going to live on forever through Twitter and all this other stuff. So
yeah. So it felt a little sellout-ish to me. I don't know how you felt in that aspect.
I think that's fair, but I think that's also a fair criticism because of the music choice, right? Because of all the new shit that he played. So, like, you know, he's capitalizing on a lot of momentum right now, which makes a lot of sense. But the things that got him there are still just as good, if not better. And so I would have liked to see some of that. So, yeah, I think that's where the sellout part comes into it a little bit. But he was teasing a big surprise.
The reality is that we're jealous that we don't have a black Grand National.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. I asked you this. I don't think you responded. He was teasing like a big surprise, right? Do you think the big surprise was Samuel L. Jackson or Serena Williams crip walking?
I think it's Serena Williams.
I think so too. Because I was sick.
Because Terry said it was Serena Williams. I'm like, I think that's just a random blonde girl. Why would the fuck would Serena Williams be there? And then I guess the whole Drake thing was something I never knew. So
yeah, neither did I until Twitter afterwards. But yeah, once I saw Serena on screen, I was like, what the fuck is Serena Williams doing there? It was so random. I knew immediately it was Serena. And then I was like,
it was like surreal for me because we had just had a conversation about Serena and Venus.
That's like
funny. And then Terry's like, was that Serena? I was like, what, Serena Gomez?
Serena Gomez? That's gotta be
Serena?
racist.
Like, what are you talking about? But I'm serious. We had a conversation about Serena and Venus Williams like 2 days right before the Super Bowl.
That's funny. I think about Serena Williams a lot, so
I'm sure you do, pal.
I love Serena. Yeah, I think that's it. That covers pretty much all the Super Bowl. Oh, did you have a top commercial? I had two.
I thought the Glenn Powell one was decent.
That one was all right, yeah. Uh, the two that I had was Willem Dafoe and the lady from Schitt's Creek playing pickleball and destroying everyone in the Michelob ad. I thought that was funny because it's very accurate because old people are just like better at pickleball than everyone else. It's stupid. That's why the game sucks. The second one was Seal as a seal singing for the Mountain Dew commercial. Did you see that one?
No, I saw it after the game. I didn't see either of those 5.
I don't know why, but like immediately when I saw Seal's face on the Seal body, I started dying laughing. I was like, this is so good. I was like, this is comedy. Yeah, that was good.
What was the one? There was a commercial where it was like a little girl running down the sidewalk. You remember that commercial during the Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl where like the kid had died?
Oh, yeah.
I thought the little girl was going to run into the street and get ran over by a fucking car.
I think that was the Pfizer ad.
I have such bad PTSD. Like anytime someone's like near a sidewalk and like in a video or a movie or something, I just assume they're going to get fucking leveled by a car, even though it would not fit in. Like it'd be like the Michael Scott theory of improvisation, where it's like, what's the craziest thing that could happen? And it'd just be someone getting hit by a car just randomly as fuck.
Yeah.
Like even in rom-coms, I'm just expecting someone to get hit by a fucking car.
That'll be funny. All right. Let's do bit cornering. Or do we have a Pookie of the week? I don't have one.
Josh Sweat.
Yeah, sure. He's got a good celebration. The wipe the sweat off. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, Terry was asking me about that.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
And you're like, it's a sword.
At least someone else, Covington, thought it was a sword too, so I don't feel as bad about
That's
it.
fair. Well, it's because of Trevor Bauer. Yeah. Yeah. Pookie of the week.
She was like, "What's that? What's that celebration?" Like, he's wiping the sweat off, probably because his name is Josh Sweat. She's like, "Oh, that's clever."
Yeah, it is. It's simple and effective. It works. All right. Let's do bit corner, and then we'll get out of here. Do you have a bit from? I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
You go ahead.
Okay.
I have a bit. I have my coworker has a bit that I'm going to share. It's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. Go ahead.
I'll go first. This has been a reoccurring bit that I've done for the past couple months now. It hasn't been like intentionally throughout the NFL season, but I figured now would be a good time to read some of these back to see some of these best moments. So as Jacob knows, I am a frequent user of Hinge. And when I use Hinge, I like to look at someone's profile and find something and say the first thing that comes to my mind. So I'm going to read you out some of these responses.
This is called the unhinged.
The unhinged bit where I just say random shit. So I'm going to read you some of these out. I just want to start off by saying I apologize to all these poor girls who get these terrible pickup line, or not even pickup lines. They're just shit that I say. Sorry to Hannah, whose bio said a random fact I love is koala bears have chlamydia. And I said, well, then I guess that's one thing I have in common with koalas. And then put a little koala emoji after it. So there's that. There was a girl named Lexus who I responded could afford a car, so she named her daughter Lexus, which to you pointed out that I still couldn't afford a car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
what was the one that Lexus I came up with?
I don't remember.
Couldn't afford a dog, so they named their daughter Alicia.
Oh yeah. This girl, her name was Jaylee, Jali, and I said, I'm not dyslexic, but I thought your name was Jail. Some simple ones here. Serena said, I hype myself up by listening to Waves by Kanye. I just put step up in this bitch like, just, something simple. Haley on this poor girl.
You thought her name was Hale?
No. No, this poor girl. This is a bad one. I don't even know if I want to share this one.
Just move on. Just don't get canceled.
No, I want to. This is a funny one. She said, "I won't shut up about rocks," and then like in parentheses has, "I'm a geology major," and I said, "At least you don't like rocks because you're autistic." What else is there? This girl Haley said, "I'm convinced that Danny Ainge is going to orchestrate one of the best rebuilds of all time." And I said, "Is Keontae George actually the best point guard in the league?" This goes into a bit that you had earlier in the year. Ella, who was a beautiful blonde hair girl. I said, "Blonde hair, blue eyes. You know who would have loved you." ...
Did she reply to that?
No, she did not.
That's not surprising.
Kenzie, who said, "The one thing you should know about me is I'm a middle child." I said, "Like J. Cole." Pretty simple, pretty effective. Another autism joke. This girl said, "I go crazy for fireworks." I said, "My friend said the most autistic thing about me is that I like fireworks." And then a simple one to end. This girl's name, just Mar, M-A-R. I wrote, "I like your name. The more I hear it, the more I like it." Which is just an absolute classic. Just an absolute classic of a joke.
Do you get any responses on any of these?
The one response I got
on you just read 10 fucking
yes. To all of those that I read, and there are a ton more that I either didn't take screenshots of or didn't send to either you or Cooper that I just threw out there. Out of all the responses that I got, the one that I got a response to was I hype myself up by listening to Waves by Kanye. Where I said, "Step up in this bitch," like, I forgot what she responded with, but then I just continued to do the lyrics of the song in my responses. Because, I don't know, I didn't want to actually talk to her, so I just kept going down the line of the lyrics from Waves by Kanye until she stopped responding. So, yeah, that's been my bit corner for this year. I'm probably going to keep doing it because it's funny and I don't take Hinge seriously anyways, so I might as well have fun with it. So that's my bit. That's been my bit this year. It's a blast. I'm sure next year Super Bowl edition, I will come back and I will have more unhinged quotes for you guys. So stay tuned for that. All right, Jakey, your coworker's bit.
Okay, so we're sitting there. I asked my coworker Frank, like, "Hey man, what do you do for President's Day?" He's like, "Oh, I might take a day trip and do some photography." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you should go to this arboretum," and I showed it to him. And then after I showed him pictures on my laptop, he was walking away. I'm like, "Or you could go to the Japanese Friendship Garden. You ever been there?" And he's like, "No, I've heard really good things about it." And then my coworker China is like, "Oh yeah, I went there on a first date one time." And after that, we had about 2 minutes of conversation, maybe more. And then all of a sudden, China goes like, "Oh my gosh." I told him my name was Koi. And that's probably why he took me there. And we were just all stunned because apparently she told people for years that her name was Koi. Just fucking randomly.
That's funny.
Because we were talking about the koi fish, and then I guess the dots connected in her head.
And he was like, "Yo, let me take her there."
Like, her name's Koi. Let me take her to see some fucking koi fish. And then
that's funny.
Frank was like, "You should reach back out to him, let him know you appreciate the gesture now."
And then tell him your real name.
Apparently, it's still her name on Lyft.
Interesting.
She books a Lyft. It says Koi, which is just.
I think that's the funny bit part.
It must be okay. Here's the thing: is that it must be genetic because her brother legally changed his name to Mark's Marvelous.
Mark's is a sick name.
No, Mark's Marvelous.
Oh,
it's
all one.
You
name.
say the whole thing like a pimp named Slickback.
That's funny. It's still like.
And
yeah,
then she has another one. She has another one. It's Dakota.
I like that as a bit. Just tell people a fake name.
It borders on like crazy, but it's like I kind of respect it. I wish I could just straight up fucking lie to people like that.
Well, I've told you about the second cruise I took, where I told everyone I was a kicker. Did I not tell you about this?
I think you told me, yeah, you did. Like,
the second cruise I went on, I was 17, and me, Cooper, and Colin had just started like randomly kicking footballs. So I basically told everyone that I was our high school kicker and I was being recruited by all these Big 12 schools. And so for the entire trip, everyone was just like, yo, it's the kicker. It was so dumb.
Nicker the kicker.
Nicker the kicker. Yep, exactly. What a beautiful way to end. All right. That does it for the NFL season. We will be back. Jakey Tutties is should we hang you to end the podcast? What should we do we gotta kill you off somehow.
Oh man.
We didn't plan this. Get Terry in here and tell her to like beat your ass.
Listen, I'm gonna be knee deep in spring training stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna be reading scouting reports.
Yep.
Shohei is gonna be pitching. He's gonna be back in the rotation by May, I hear.
Alex Bregman to the Red Sox. Breaking news that just happened on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Big.
Boston getting good.
Yeah.
Corbin Burns to the Diamondbacks.
What's your baseball name? Jakey Pitches?
I thought it was Jakey Dingers.
Oh, yeah, Jakey Dingers. Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, we've never done a baseball podcast. So.
Have we done a single one outside of sports movie? You did the one with your dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only Every Sport Today baseball episode that was with my dad for the World Series preview. So that was fun. We might do baseball. You got to start watching some basketball so we can get Jakey Buckets out from the dead. Now that the Nuggets are the Harlem Globetrotters, you're probably going to be watching a lot more because they're incredible right now. And I probably just jinxed our entire season, but fuck it, we ball. Just like the Nuggets do. Yeah. So we'll have Jakey come back for basketball and stuff. And I don't know. I was going to take a break for February, and then I was like, nah, it's too much fun. Even though it's a lot of work, but it's fun. We have fun here. We goof and gab and take clips and post them on social media. And that's really all we're here for.
Get 5 likes a piece.
Get 5 likes. A couple comments that go, bro's trying to flex tickets. Cringe. Bro thinks Nico Iamaliava is going to be a top 10 draft pick.
Jake McCarthy sucks.
JJ McCarthy sucks. Yeah, shit like that. That's what we do it for. We do it for you guys to tell us that Shedeur Sanders is better than JJ McCarthy. So I can't wait for more podcasts. We might bring back a sports movie today, sooner rather than later. I'm sure there'll be some weeks where we can fit it in. So we'll figure it out. I'm not too worried. We just kind of wing shit here. And now I'm just rambling. All right, time to end the podcast. Mr. Jakey Tutties, thank you very much. I've poisoned your drink, so you will die off for the next however many months. So
clever.
Yeah. Crazy how I thought about
very
that.
Bond of you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, it's really impressive. So you will be dead, and then we'll have
just
to
make sure. So you need to keep the elixir.
Yep. I have it.
We're what's it called when you desecrate the grave of Jakey Buckets? Bring him back.
Reincarnate?
Well, like you got
resurrect
grave digging. There's like a word for it. I can't. Yeah, we're gonna resurrect Jakey Buckets.
Yeah, like Jesus
with a couple 2x4s and a car battery.
Yep.
And yeah,
and he'll be back before you know it.
And a rabbit's foot, and he's gonna have a tail.
Yeah. And Jakey Dingers will just kind of be like sitting there. We can't really because Jakey Dingers kind of intersects with the others, with the other seasons, we kind of have to almost just keep him as an alternate personality for you, you'll just have to turn him on. What's that movie, the Shyamalan movie, Split?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to get you to split into Jakey dingers. Yeah, that'll be how we do it. The lore keeps growing. We love the lore on this podcast. All right, that'll do it. Super Bowl ended. The Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. Fuck them. We're gonna beat them next year, guaranteed. That's my That's my lock of the offseason. The Cowboys win the division next year, and the Eagles don't. So lock it in. I wonder what the odds are. Those are probably pretty good odds. All right, that does it for the podcast. We will see you later. Bye-bye.